Welcome to GameKheyl. We are with our second interview here, and we have a celebrity amongst us. We have Mr. King Sunny. Who is he? We are going to find that out shortly. But before that, for everyone watching, thank you all so much for the support that we got on our first interview. That was with the admin of UFC 4 Cage Rage, Mr. Gancho Khabador, and Jason Darcy, aka Mr. Humble Dink. My name is Naveed. I'm also known as Barely Average Gaming. And like I mentioned, we have King Sunny with us. He is a gamer, he is a FIFA coach, and he is a streamer. That's all you need to know, but I'm pretty sure everyone in the community has been talking pretty much back and forth with us about having him on stream. He is a man in demand, and we welcome him to GameKheyl. Sir, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Naveed bhai. Thank you so much. That was very grateful of you that you first of all invited me. I'm very grateful to you that you invited me and to all my fans who have been requesting you to get me over here on GameKheyl. And it's a great initiative you have taken and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much
We
for
are
having me over.
we are extremely grateful to have you. You're one of the top, if not the top, FIFA player in Pakistan. But at the same time, you have the resume that absolutely deserves a welcome, if not any better. So
Thank you so much. It was an amazing welcome. Really, it was a very warm welcome and I really appreciate it.
Absolutely brilliant to have you here today. So, Sunny, first and foremost, we would like to know a little bit about your interest in FIFA. Where did you really find your grip in this game? How did you really get yourself familiarized here?
Well, it is a bit of a long story. People are playing it now compared to the previous years. However, so back then I was a very bad FIFA player, to be honest. Like I used to play each and every tournament online and, in my city and in Islamabad, in Pindi, over here and there. But I used to be very bad at the game. I used to keep losing in first round. Every round I used to be out. And like I had a lot of friends in the community back then as well. And I'm talking 2014, 15, 16, right? But at the same time, I wasn't known for being a good FIFA player. I was just known for being a cool guy back then. I used to go to tournaments, celebrate after scoring a goal. People used to, like that. And I used to just go out there for my own entertainment and I used to entertain people over there. So what I am today is very different to what I used to be all those years ago, right? So I was very average at the game. Anyways, at that time, I tried to improve, but I couldn't. So I was like, okay, I knew that I would lose, yet I would travel 2 hours away to Town from Wakin to Town, only to end up losing. But yeah, that was that. So in FIFA 17, by December of FIFA 17, I sold the game in FIFA 17. But yeah, and I used to play another game called Rainbow Six. However, in April of 2017, I bought FIFA 17 again upon the request of my friend, Hilal is his name, Hilal Noori, a very well known guy in the community as well. So then I bought the game back and I was a very casual player as I'm sounding right now. So I used to play, just with him. But it was that summer of FIFA 17 that, I wouldn't say addicted, but I had this passion inside of me for playing FIFA. So in FIFA 18, I started playing Ultimate Team. And ever since then, I didn't look back. And in FIFA 18, I worked really hard on this game. I think I put in a lot of hours. I sacrificed a lot of things, a lot of outings, a lot of other stuff. When I say a lot of other stuff, like I used to be in this cave in FIFA 18 all year long. And then that was the start of this journey.
Sounds brilliant. Another thing, Sunny. So you mentioned something about FIFA Ultimate Teams. So we might have a few casuals who are watching this interview. Can you just give us a brief of what FUT is and how is it something that has taken the world by storm?
Basically, FIFA Ultimate Team is pretty much different to what is the common mode here. The more popular mode here is the kickoff mode. In FIFA Ultimate Team, like the name suggests, you can, use any level players of your own. Like you can have Messi and Ronaldo in the same team, for example. So other than that, I think everyone knows what FIFA Ultimate Team is. Let me talk more about the competitive side of FIFA Ultimate Team. Now, every official EA FIFA tournament is held on Ultimate Team. It's the official platform of FIFA tournaments. The FIFA E World Cup is held on FIFA Ultimate Team. So FIFA Ultimate Team has taken the world by storm, and EA is fully invested in FIFA Ultimate Team, and now each year it's growing. Rather than going downwards, it's going upwards. So that's why, as you see in Pakistan, if you go 4 years back, then no one used to play this game. But now, most of the FIFA players, like at least 40% of them, are shifting to FIFA Ultimate Team, and like at least 30 to 35% of them are religiously playing this game, and they really want to improve. Like the passion is being ignited in the Pakistani community as well on foot, and we are here helping to promote it, and we want more people to have this passion and work for this game within our Pakistani scene, that is.
Completely agreed to that. One of the reasons why GameKheyl kind of came into being was to help these streamers find the platform and the voice, and more importantly, get some sort of positive advice from someone like yourself, Sunny, to be able to grasp that and take that forward. Because at the end of the day, what I've noticed from all the OG gamers and streamers out there, they want the communities to grow, they want them to thrive, and they want more and better for the people within their own vicinity. So FIFA has been a phenomenon across the world for a very, very long period of time. Yeah. And in Pakistan, the growth has been steady with the advent of consoles and better internet speeds. So what do you think about the local FIFA community right now? What do you think it has to do to really take that next step?
It has to, first of all, change its mentality. They need to be very more positive and supporting towards the other player. We need to create a more positive environment over here in Pakistan, especially. Like we need to push each other rather than, trying to, I wouldn't use the word hate, but hate in a way like we need to push each other forward rather than bringing each other down. And we need to focus on ourselves rather than other factors. And because I've seen like in FIFA is a game like this, but in Pakistani community especially, like everyone, like let's just on a lighter note, like everyone is always right. It's always something else which is hindering them from reaching the top. So you need to take the blame. You need to be positive and support each other. This is what we need to do, and we need to put more emphasis on FIFA Ultimate Team, and we need to get out of the kickoff mode. But the world has advanced. We need to shift with it, and we need to support each other.
I absolutely agree to that. Being a competitive gamer myself, it really takes your game to the next level when you start competing with those pesky international players with better connections and better speeds. And exactly. I hope EA, if you're listening, we definitely need a server somewhere nearby in Pakistan. That's going to help us massively.
If not the servers, first of all, what we need is the eligibility. Like me, myself, and a few other players in Pakistan. They are eligible to compete in the EA official events. But just because we do not have the eligibility, EA has not given us the eligibility yet, which I believe and I pray will change for FIFA 22, is like hindering us from reaching the top. Otherwise, there are a few names in this country which can really, shake this region within competitive esports FIFA.
Absolutely agree. And I think the whole community of FIFA or any other esports in Pakistan can take a lot of inspiration from how Tekken kind of took the world by storm. We have one of the best players in the world in Ursalan, and also with Awais Honey. So I definitely hope that this is something that can really stir and shake the region up and perhaps kind of compel these big companies to see the potential that this country of Pakistan has.
Exactly.
So moving on with a few things that we've mentioned earlier. So you've become actually pretty popular in the community as a streamer recently. Can you just give us a brief on how you got into that and how is it going so far?
So as far as streaming is concerned, I was kind of a popular guy always in the community, but after during the past 3 or 4 years, like when I actually improved a lot at the game and drew a lot of attention to myself, I always wanted to start streaming, but during the start of FIFA 19, as many of you guys watching know that I'm a FIFA coach as well, I had this knowledge of this game and I wanted to spread it, and I wanted to help other people improve their FIFA game as well. So I wanted to start streaming for this reason, mainly for this reason, to educate people more about the gameplay of FIFA within Pakistan. And I was like, I'm going to give it a shot, and it's been going so far so good. And it's all due to the support of my community and the people like you, Mr. Nabi.
No, it's absolutely people who have the talent like yourself, kind of grabbing this thing by the scruff of the neck and propelling the community, whether it likes it or not. And I think that's the kind of effort it needs to really put yourself on the map. And Mr.
Yeah,
Sunny,
exactly.
you've been pretty successful with that. So another thing that you've mentioned, which most of the community knows, and that is you as a FIFA coach.
Yeah.
So focus on, and how do you really how do you really make a message that is understandable for all different audiences? How do you go about that?
First of all, you need, like with anything else, you need to have a lot of knowledge. When I say a lot of knowledge, I mean a lot of knowledge, right? Because me just being a good player doesn't mean I'm going to be a good coach, right? There's a lot more stuff that goes into coaching. Like people say, okay, he's a good player, might be a good coach. That's not how it works. We have seen it in real life sports. It's same goes for esports. You need a lot of knowledge of the game, like ins and outs, and with that, you need a sense of teaching. Like you need to have this, because I think teaching comes naturally. You need to have this thing of teaching, and you need to put your message in a way that it hits the heart of your students. And then because if you cannot hit their heart, you cannot convince their mind. So you need to have a sense of teaching. You need to have a lot of knowledge about the game, and you need to be honest with yourself. Where do you stand? Do you stand at a place where you can help other people, or you don't? So that's the first thing. Even if you're a good player, if you're an amazing player, but that doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach. Second, you need to have a sense of teaching. And third, you need to understand the students. Like what goes into traditional sports coaching goes into esports as well. They all follow the same patterns, in my opinion.
Completely agreed with that. I think one of the things which the community tends to forget is the fact that sometimes you have to focus on the fundamentals in order to become a better player.
Exactly.
Maybe
I'm
you've
all
learned,
about fun.
yeah, maybe the way, because like most of us, we just learned something from scratch because we just like to mash buttons, and gradually learned our way up how the game and the technical side of things work. For me personally, I didn't know how the right stick worked till FIFA 14, and I've been playing this game for, I don't know, maybe 20 years or so. But that being said, I think it's very important how the coaches are doing great work for the community. I've seen a lot of your videos. I have not come to play FIFA 21. I think as soon as I touch that controller, I play that game. I think your channel is the one to follow here. Another thing that I would want
that's
to
really kind of
appreciate that. Another thing I would like to have you put some emphasis on is the fact that streaming takes a lot of effort, and that's something that people generally tend to take for granted. And that's probably one of the reasons why people end up buying very nice and very expensive setups, but probably quit in a couple of weeks. And how were you able to persevere through that stage of growth and be at a position where you are right now?
The thing is, I always say, like, I am still trying to become a top streamer, but so far my advice is always the same. It will always be the same no matter where I reach. That do not look at the numbers. Like most people, stream for the sake of viewers. I stream for the sake of my community. Like when someone comes in the chat and they write, "Oh, I got this finish last weekend league because of you. You helped me improve your game this way, that way." Like this, if my content is, making a change in someone's gameplay, a positive impact, if I'm having a positive impact on anyone's life, because if they play good FIFA and I've helped them, it means they'll be happy somewhere in their life. So for me, when I started, I knew that my goal is to educate people and have a positive impact on their FIFA lives, and that's what has helped me. Because if I was to look at numbers, then I would have left streaming as well. So I didn't spend a lot on my setup initially. I just got a light, I just got a normal camera, and I was like, let's ride with it. Got a capture card, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, so if you wanna do something, don't do it for the sake of proving anything. Like, don't try to prove anything to anyone. If you want to ever prove something, prove it to yourself, not to the world, because the world will never be satisfied, right? And second of all, just try to aim for good content and don't focus on the numbers. And then as we said, it's all about fundamentals, even in streaming, right? Just focus on positivity and life will give it back to you one way or another. Same applies to streaming as well.
Some golden words there, and I believe it's not just for the FIFA community, but generally streaming in general. We need these kind of characters. We need this kind of attitude in order for us to really propel ourselves to that next level.
Exactly. We need to stop being fearful. Like many players, when I tell them, yeah, why are you not streaming? They say, "Oh, Sunny, when we hit certain ranks, then we will stream." I said, no, that's not the way to go about it. I understand you want to, put some good FIFA on display, but that's not a progressive mindset. A progressive mindset is, I am what I am. No one's judging me. I have faith in my ability. I'm going to go put forward rather than, trying to prove a point that when I reach this rank, only then will I stream. That's not how it works. If you think like that, then you'll be stuck over here. If you want to go over here, then you need to come out of the shell of trying to prove a point. That's all I'm saying. Because I've seen it in this community. Yeah.
All right. Another question with regards to the streaming, and that's something that a lot of people have actually asked me to ask you. And that is, well, when you talk about streaming, what are the fundamental challenges that you have to be mindful of when you actually decide to pursue that you're going to stream? What are the things you have to focus on?
The first and the most important thing, I think, for me, that is, just be positive and remember, there will be negativity. There will be a lot of negative people, but do not focus on them. Focus on the ones who actually want to see you play or, talk or whatever it is.
I think that's a solid bit of advice there. Thank you, King Sunny, for that. Another thing that I saw when I had that conversation with you earlier, you were actually winner of the biggest foot competition in Pakistan. Can you just give us a brief on how that went about? How did that go, and how did you end up winning that?
So yeah, that was the SNG Cup. It was the most competitive FIFA tournament till date. It was a sponsored tournament. So it was an invitational tournament. 8 Elite One players at the time. Elite One being the second highest rank in FIFA, which gives you the tag of being a verified FIFA player as per EA. We had 8 Elite One players at the time in Pakistan. All of them were invited, and 2 players joined us through qualifiers. And it was the top 10 players of Pakistan at the time. At the time, only 2 months ago in February. So, there was a lot of competition. I knew all of them. I played with all. We play a lot. So I have already played, so many of them before. It was top 10 players of Pakistan. There is no, there is no easy opponent when there's top 10 players playing. So once again, my mindset is always the same. I was playing SNG Cup not to prove to anyone that King Sunny is the best player or something. I said it in the post-winning interview as well, that I am not obsessed with being the best. I am not here to prove a point. What I am obsessed with is, playing good FIFA, playing to the best of my ability, and playing it for the people who actually love me. And there were so many of my followers in the chat, and they were so happy when I won. After this tournament, I read the chat, and I was so happy for that. Anyways, a bit about the tournament. I went into the losers bracket eventually, and I won it from the losers bracket. Final was against arguably Pakistan's best player, Arib, who was my practice partner as well. So I had the final against him. It went down, and eventually I ended up winning it, thanks to Almighty. And yeah, like I said, because mindset is very important. I'm not obsessed with being the best, and I'm not obsessed with winning. What I am obsessed with is playing to the best of my ability and playing for the people who love me. And that's what I carried into that tournament, and that's what helped me, because I think I made a comeback in almost every match I played in the knockouts. I was losing, but then I turned it around, kept turning it around, and yeah, it's competitive FIFA at the highest level. It's all about this, your mind. It's not an FPS game. I can only do so much with the controller, but FIFA might have a low skill gap technically, but it has a lot of, the skill gap is big when it comes to your mentality, and that's the key. That's where most people get it wrong. They focus on, okay, I'm going to perform this skill move, I'm going to copy that tactic, I'm going to copy that play style, then I'll become better. No, bro. If you want to be a better FIFA player, you need to accept the fact that this is a mental game and you need to work on your mentality. That's what I always teach people.
Another solid bit of advice, and I think that's something that a lot of people tend to forgo because for whatever reason you get into gaming or streaming or at least elite level competitions. For some people,
Yeah.
the motive is to get the kind of attention that you believe you deserve, or maybe the fact that there is a good cash sum that you can receive at the end of that.
Exactly.
But I believe when you have the right intentions behind pursuing what you are, and you have those pure intentions, and I think it
Exactly.
kind of,
Intentions matter a lot. Exactly.
yeah.
Attention matters a lot. If you like put yourself on the top, it's not a bad thing. Being confident is not a bad thing, but you know there's a thin line between being confident and overconfident. And some people just kill themselves in gaming communities with overconfidence because they're like you. It's okay to accept that you're not the best sometimes, so you can look into yourself. If you cannot look into your faults, you cannot be better in this game or any other game. So you need to have the right intentions, and you need to be like if you're not humble, then there is only so far you will go in this game or in any other sport. That's what I try to teach because I've seen within this community as well, like people, you know, go on a high and then they go like this. Why? Because the moment they touch a bit of height, they just change. So you need to stay humble. If you're listening to me, whoever you are, like, no matter wherever you go, whatever you become, you need to always stay humble in order to consistently improve. And yeah, that's my take on it.
We just have a couple more questions. One of them being, and that's something that just came to me. Do you think it helps coping with the kind of pressure that you are so used to while streaming? Does it really help in the competitive environment when you're there and you're used to the pressure, you're used to the hate, you're used to
Yeah,
people telling you what you can and cannot do? Do you think it helps?
yeah, it does help. Like because I'm used to playing on the camera, my opponent might not be. I don't care if there's 200 people watching. I don't think about that. I don't care. I'm used to it. Like there's people watching. At least like whenever I'm playing weekend league, there's like 30 to 50 people watching me. So it's like I'm used to it. So it does help. It does surely help when you're playing a tournament on camera. Like I'm used to it, and that is a certain advantage. Surely it is.
All right.
But when
Just
I'm
one, so,
playing
yeah, sorry.
a
Okay.
tournament, I don't play it as King Sunny. I play it as King Sunny, but when I have the controller and when I'm in the game, I play it as Salman and not as King Sunny, and that just gives me a bit of a mental edge. It helps it helps to take off the pressure off your shoulders.
It definitely does, and I think that's one thing that people tend to forget when they're putting themselves in those situations, that it's actually an outlet or a place for expression rather than something that you kind of take pressure on yourself and you kind of build yourself to let yourself down. So I
Exactly.
believe that's a solid bit of advice there, so,
Exactly.
Sunny.
You got it spot on.
Perfect. Just one final question from my side, and that would be, what do you foresee when you talk about esports or when you talk about FIFA? What do you think Pakistan has to bring to the table, and do you think that there is a bright future for Pakistan in esports?
To be honest, I'll talk about FIFA because I'm more into it. Like there, you see if there's games like Free Fire, PUBG, Taken. They're getting a lot of hype in Pakistan, and we see a future for those games. As far as FIFA is concerned, it's up to people like me, up to people like you. We have to take a stand. We have to promote it, and then seriously, like I'm trying to work on making FIFA mainstream with some organizations as well in Pakistan. Like it's up to me, it's up to the other influential guys into the community. Like, but if we actually stand together and if we promote it and if we keep on giving the right messages consistently, then I do see people or for the kids who are gonna be playing this game in 5 to 10 years time. So if it depends on us now because this is the right time and we have to take a stand.
I completely agree with that. And again, one of the reasons why the formation of GameKheyl happened was to kind of bring into light the streamers who deserve the rightful attention, and also for people who are planning to venture into that to have the right kind of right pieces of advice, and also making gaming enjoyable. That's why it is there why it is there in the first place. So
Yeah.
again, thank you so much, Sunny, for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. You've given us a lot of insight into FIFA, streaming, coaching, and I believe everyone listening to this is going to be immensely happy with what they've heard. For everyone else who's listening, if you're interested in the content that we've just delivered, we have a Facebook page, we have our community. The links will be shared in the comment section. Thank you all so much for joining in. Sunny, any final words?
No, like, first of all, I want to say that you have been thanking me a lot. No, thanks to you, all thanks to you for having me on and for taking this initiative. And I'm very proud to see that someone in Pakistan like has taken this kind of stand and this kind of initiative for the esports community in general. And I'm really proud of GameKheyl and all its supporters. Thank you so much for having me on. And yeah, if you guys like this content, don't forget to like GameKheyl's video. Peace out. Keep working. Keep supporting.
Thank you, Sunny. And for everyone listening, if you've enjoyed what you've heard and you have heard from Sunny for the first time, we'll be sharing his links in the chat as well. Again, thank you all so much. We are signing out and hope you all have a good day. Peace.